Good evening, everyone. Let's continue with AS11. Today we did two questions in AS11. One was question number 5B and the other one was question number 8A. And of course, we revised all the concepts that we had done till now. So quickly, if you have any doubts, please post your doubts on the chat box. You may look at the entire concepts that we have done. Also look at the two solutions that we did of the two questions. Question 5A and 8B. I'm sorry, it is 5B and 8A. So check that. If you have any doubts, let us solve your doubts first. And only after that, we proceed to the next part of this accounting standard. So quickly look at everything. If you have any doubts, please post it. I will wait for you. And then we proceed with question number 14. Check properly if you have any doubts. Else we proceed with question number 14. I have one doubt which says what would have been the case if there would have been a non-monetary item in question number 5B. So Spruha, in case there is it is a non-monetary item, no accounting effect is to be given. We will always take the acquisition rate. So because we are taking the acquisition rate, in that case, you will have no treatment, right? So the answer to your question is that if in question number 5B it would have been a non-monetary item, the accounting treatment would have remained the same and we would have given no accounting treatment for it. Right, in spite of the fact that the date of purchase and the date of payment are different, we would have treated it as a non-monetary item. So in that case, what you would have done is you would have taken it, but the value of the inventory, the value of your asset would not have changed. You would have taken, of course, you would have taken the date of the payment and made the payment. The effect would have been gone, would have definitely gone to the profit and loss account, but the value would have remained of the asset the same. Yes, so that is what I'm saying. The date of purchase and date of payment would be different, so you will give the same treatment. After that, I have one more doubt, which is non-monetary में gain loss होगा. Of course, non-monetary में you will have gain or loss only if the case is of a payment on a different date. If it was the same, then you would have never done that. So again, I'm repeating my answer to your question. It says that if it is a non-monetary item, at every balance sheet date, you will continue recording it at the acquisition rate. But if the rate is changing because of which your payment is changing, then of course you will have to take the higher amount, and then that will be the value of your fixed asset or any asset that you have recorded. What was the correction that was made on page number 64? So just let me check page number 64, point number 3. Page number 64, point number 3. Okay, so page number 64, point number 3, I think it is Ishika's doubt. So just check this statement that I'm telling you. That is the change that we had made. Yes, so this is the statement that we had changed. So you can quickly copy it down. This is the change that we had made. Okay, fine. So I hope Spruha and Akshay, your doubts are solved. Okay. Once again, I'm repeating for you. If it is a non-monetary item, initially you will record it. I'm writing over here. Initially, you will record it at the spot rate. Initially, every transaction will be recorded at the spot rate. However, whenever there are changes, you will of course have to make the changes, and those changes will always go to the profit and loss account. So you will always record the changes at the profit and loss account. However, once you make the change, every year that will come, that item will reflect in the balance sheet. Say, for example, if there is a debtor who is not paying to you since 1 year, so that will be reflected in both the balance sheets. Now, once you make the payment for a debtor, you will always take the closing rate every year. I am writing over your closing rate every year. हर साल आपको closing rate ही check करना. Every year you will have to take the closing rate in that case. Yes, see, this is how I am writing it for you. Initially, you will always record it at the spot rate. If there are any changes in the monetary items, that will always go to the P&L before the payment. Once the payment is done, please pay attention over here. Once payment is completed, then you can bifurcate. If it is monetary item, it will always go to the profit and loss account, and you will always take the closing rate. अब जब भी आप closing rate लेंगे, अगर कोई difference आता है, that will go to the P&L. However, once the payment is completed, अब कोई payment का केस नहीं है. अब मैंने 2010-11 में asset खरीदा तब payment कर दिया. अब 11-12, 12-13 में हर बार जब balance sheet आएगा for a non-monetary item, in that case you will continue taking the acquisition rate, and because you are continuously taking the acquisition rate, there will be no effect in the profit and loss account. Right? Quickly look at this. If you still have doubts, please ask me. So Spruha, Aman and Sami, specifically for you three, because you three had asked this doubt. Okay. So one person is done. What about Akshay? Akshay, are you clear now completely with this? Okay. Fine. I think all, yes. Thank you so much. All three are done. Now let's go to, okay. Anyone else who has a doubt? Please get it solved first. Before we go to the next concept, get your doubts solved. Anyone else has a doubt? I'm still giving you a minute to think about it. Look at whatever we have done, and then we proceed with the next part. Okay, since we have no more doubts, okay, I am again repeating, Spruha, question number 8A and question number 5B are questions pertaining to concepts we have not studied till now. So whenever I will teach you those concepts, we will be doing question number 8A and question number 5B both. Right now we have only done question number 8A. The accounting treatment of 8A. What accounting treatment are you talking about? Which accounting treatment? If you could please explain, I will of course explain to you the accounting treatment. Right, so this exchange gain or loss, okay, you can just put this one statement. Is this gain or loss? This is gain. So you can put that statement over here. Will be credited to the profit and loss account. Right, hope now that is perfectly fine. Okay, I have one more doubt, which says, why did we consider share capital as a non-monetary item? Is because share capital is an item of your liability, which is not to be paid in fixed and considerable amount. It is an item other than monetary item. That is why it is a non-monetary item. It is not an item which is to be settled on fixed amount of payments. That is probably the reason. In fact, that is the reason because of which we have taken it as a non-monetary item. Okay, perfect. Let's go to question number 14. Let's go to question number 14 now. Question number 14 says, explain briefly the accounting treatment needed in the following cases as per AS 11. Again, just bifurcated between A and B. Long term is B. So you have question 14A and 14B. Again, we will first be focusing on 14A. 14B is something which I have not yet taught you, so we will wait for that concept to come. Okay, everyone, on your please pay attention on the question. We are doing question number 14, sub question A, which says explain briefly the accounting treatment needed in the following cases as per AS 11. A. Trade receivables include amount receivable from TED of US rupees 5 lakhs recorded at the prevailing exchange rate on the date of sales. The transaction recorded at 38.7. Okay, quickly everyone on the chat box. In this question, have they given you the value in INR or USD? आपको ट्रांजैक्शनल वैल्यू INR पे दी हुई है या USD पे दी हुई है? That is my first question to you. Is it in INR or USD? INR, okay. Whenever you are given a value in INR, will you multiply or divide? Will you multiply or divide? Whenever a value is given in INR upfront, will you multiply or divide? Of course you will divide. Okay. In this question, is it a receivable for you or a payable for you? The question brings a receivable for you or a payable for you. What does the question bring to you? A receivable. Okay, very good. It brings a receivable, which means I am going to receive money. Look at this last part, the part that I'm highlighting. What is the rate that we should take? 45.8 should be the closing rate or 45.9 should be the closing rate? Look at this part that I've highlighted. 45.8 or 45.9. Fine, everyone agrees it has to be 45.8 because we have to take the dollar receivable rate. The dollar receivable rate in the question is 45.8. Right? Let's try and solve this question. Put your first statement. Now this question you should solve along with me. So put your first statement as per accounting standard 11. Question 14A, which is given to us on page number 77. Question number page number 77, question number 14A. Prepare this systematic format. Then we begin solving this question. Okay, tell me, what's your value of the debtor in INR in the question? Value of your debtor in INR in the question on your chat box, value of the debtor in INR in the question is 5 lakhs. 5 lakhs. उस दिन का spot rate कितना दिया हुआ है question में? What is your spot rate in the question? 38.7. So your spot rate will be 38.7. Let's calculate the value in US dollars. As you all correctly mentioned, we will divide 5 lakhs divided by 38.7. How much do you get? How much do you get on dividing? You get 12919.9 USD 12919.9. What is the closing rate that we must take in the question? Your closing rate in the question is closing rate in the question is closing rate in the question is 45.8. 45.8. Okay. Quickly, everyone on the chat box. If my closing rate is 45.8 and my spot rate was 38.7, tell me gain or loss? Gain or loss? Is it gain or loss? 45.8 minus 38.7. Gain of how much? 7.1. So you have a gain of 7.1. Let's again take the value of the transaction. Which is 12919. Exchange gain in INR will be 129.9 multiplied by 7.1. How much do you get? How much do you get? One two nine 129.9 multiplied by 7.1. You get 91731. Put over here 91731. What will be the effect? Where will this treatment go? Where will you treat 91731? On your chat box, where will you treat 91731? It will of course be credited to the profit and loss account. So we will credit this to the profit and loss account. And if you have any doubts, please ask me. Else take this down properly. Once you're done, please put on the chat box that you're done so that we can go to the next question. Okay. If you're done with this, let's go to question number 15. Come to question number 15. Question 15 says, trade receivables as on 31st March. Trade receivables as on 31st March 2015 in the books of XYZ Limited include an amount receivable from Umesh, rupees 5 lakhs, recorded at the prevailing exchange rate on the date of sales, that is 1 US dollars is 58.5. US dollar 1 is 61.2 on 31st March 2015. Explain briefly the accounting treatment needed in this case as per AS 11. Now quickly put on the chat box. Have we done this exactly same question where the figures are also exactly the same? Have we done this exactly same question where the figures are the same? Yes. Which means this is a duplication. There is redundancy in this question. So what we'll do is we'll change the question. So please make the change in the question that I'm making. Instead of receivable, let's make this question a payable question. Trade payables as on 31st March 2011 include an amount payable to change the name to Amar, rupees 5 lakhs recorded at a prevailing exchange rate of 58.5 US dollar, make it 62, is 62 on 31st March 2015. Explain briefly the accounting treatment needed in this case as per AS 11 on 31st March 2015. Right, let's solve this question then. It says trade payable on 31st March 2015 in the books of XYZ Limited includes an amount payable to Amar, rupees 5 lakhs, which is recorded at the prevailing exchange rate on the date of sale. Let's do one more thing. Let's change this value also. Make it 4 lakhs and make this 57. So please pay attention. I have changed two more values. This will become 4 lakhs. This will become 57. Right, I'm again reading the question. It says trade payable on 31st March 2015 in the books of XYZ Limited includes an amount payable to Amar, rupees 4 lakhs, recorded at the prevailing exchange rate on the date of sales, that is 1 US dollar is 57. US dollar rate is 62.5 on 31st March 2015. US dollar 1 is equal to 62. Okay. Karna kya hai? Explain briefly the accounting treatment needed as per AS 11. Right, quickly on the chat box. Is the value given to me in INR or USD? Is the value in the question given to me in INR or USD? INR. So will you multiply or divide? Will you multiply or divide? Of course you will divide. Fine. Let's solve this question. This is question number 15 on page number 78. Put your first statement. As per accounting standard 11, the effect of changes in foreign exchange rates, ascertainment of gain or loss, and quickly prepare this format. Okay, tell me, what's your value of the creditor? Since this question is about payable, what is the value of your creditor in INR in the question? Your value of creditor in INR in the question is how much? Your value in INR is how much? 4 lakhs. So you will put over here 4 lakhs. What's your spot rate? Spot rate in the question is spot rate in the question is 57. Take 57. So 4 lakhs. You get 7017.54. So let's take over here. 7017.54 is your value in USD. Against that in the question, your closing rate is how much? 62. Closing rate is 62. Now tell me in this question, gain or loss? Gain or loss? This time, please remember, are you purchasing or selling is the question. It is of course a loss because you have purchased. Since you have purchased, you have to pay. You could have paid at 57, but now you will be paying at 62. So you have exchange loss in this case. 62 minus 57. What's your loss per dollar? What's your loss per dollar? 5. Value of the transaction is 7017.54. Exchange gain. What's your total exchange loss? 7017.54 into 5. You get 35087.7. 35087.70. This time, this loss will be debited to the profit and loss account. This loss will be debited to the profit and loss account. This time, this loss will be debited to the profit and loss account. Take it down properly. If you have any doubts, please ask me. I will solve that. Take it down properly. Once you're done, please put down on the chat box so that we can go to the next question. Okay. Any doubts in this? Any doubts in this? Are you clear with this? This brings you to the end of the first part of the accounting standard. So quickly on the chat box, are you clear with this? Everyone on your chat box, are you clear with this? We have Akshay, Aman, Anjali, Bhavin, Dipesh, Digesh, Harshit, Harshita, Ishika, Ishita, Jalpan, Kajal, Khushi, Manav, Nidhi, Nikita, Pavan, Pushti, Raghav, Raj, Rizwan, Rohan, Sami, Samira, Shifa, Simran, Spruha, Shrushti, Tulsi, Yash, and Zaid. Are you all absolutely clear with this? Okay, fine. If you all are clear with this, let's go to the next interesting part of this accounting standard, which talks about translation of operations which are there outside India. You have only one question on that. Let us try and understand that entire concept. Come to page number 69. Come to page number 69, where you have a table saying translation of exchange rates in foreign operations. Translation of exchange rates in foreign operations. Translation of exchange rates in foreign operations. Okay, on page number 69, everyone, please pay attention. The question is, when you have a head office in India, but a branch office outside India. Now, when you consolidate, you need to add the branch office books of the branch office financial statements in the head office financial statements. The head office financial statements is in INR. The branch office financial statements is in the foreign currency, which means we need to convert the foreign currency financial statements into Indian currency financial statements, which is known as translation of financial statements. The problem and the question is that at what rate will you translate the foreign financial statements? Now, there is one table that I've given to you, which table will summarize the entire concept. If you follow these 8 points that are given in the table, I think you will have no problem. You will be absolutely clear with this kind of a concept and question. Where it says, look at the first point. In case of non-monetary item, so if there are fixed assets in the branch financial statements, you will always convert them at the acquisition rate. So you will always use the acquisition rate to convert the non-monetary items. Are you getting it? Second, if you have monetary items such as debtors and creditors, in that case, you will always take the closing rate. अब ये हम already पढ़ चुके हैं कि non monetary item acquisition rate पे रहता है और monetary item हमेशा closing rate पे रहता है. Come to the third one. What if you have cash balance in the foreign branch? You will always convert that at the closing rate. If you have sales, purchases, and other nominal items such as salary, wages, etc., you will always take the average rate. So you will always have to take the average rate in that case. In case of inter-branch or divisional transfer, now please understand what is inter-branch or divisional transfer. One branch giving goods to the other branch, or one branch taking goods from the other branch, and branch office paying to head office paying to branch office selling goods to head office selling goods to branch office. All these are known as inter branch. Inter branch means एक branch और दूसरी branch के बीच में अंदर transaction हो रहा है. Inter branch or divisional transfer will always be taken at the actual rate. So we will always use the actual rate. Are you getting it? Let's focus on the first 5 points again. Non-monetary item will always be at the acquisition rate. Monetary item will always be at the closing rate. Cash will always be at the closing rate. Sales, purchase, other nominal items such as salary, wages, etc. will always be at the average rate. Interbranch or divisional transfer will always be at the actual rate. Your opening stock will be at the opening rate and your closing stock will always be at the closing rate. So opening stock will be at the opening rate, closing stock will be at the closing rate. Now, interesting point is depreciation. Now, depreciation is always calculated at the fixed asset. So you will always use the rate used by the fixed asset. And what is the rate the fixed asset uses? It uses the acquisition rate. So indirectly for depreciation also, we will be using the acquisition rate, which in this case is known as the fixed asset rate. Are you getting it? So depreciation will always be taken at the fixed asset rate. And what is the fixed asset rate? It is nothing but the acquisition rate. Are you getting it? Quickly on the chat box. Are you clear with this? Yes or no? Are you all clear with this? Okay. Now let's have 3 of you trying to solve this question. 3 people and we will try and solve this entire question. Okay. So first, Digesh, can you help? Can you be one of the 3 to solve this question? Digesh Prajapati. Quickly put it on the chat box. Can you try and solve this question along with the other 2? Rohan, can you help me solve this question? Rohan, can you help me solve this question? Okay. Simran, can you help me solve this question? Simran, can you try solving this question? Okay. And Zaid, can you try and solve this question along with Rohan and Simran? Okay, perfect. So we have Zaid, we have Rohan and Simran who will be solving this question.
Sir?
Yes, so we have Rohan, Simran and Zaid, I believe. Okay, fine. Let's look at the question first. Look at the question and tell me. We begin with Rohan. Rohan, fixed asset. What is the rate that you will take for fixed asset? Rohan, the rate that you will take for fixed asset will be? Yes, Rohan,
sir.
the rate that you will take for the fixed asset will be?
Acquisition rate.
Acquisition rate. Okay. So acquisition rate should be the rate on which date?
1/4/2010.
Perfect. Simran, debtors?
Closing rate.
Closing rate. Okay. Zaid, opening stock?
Actual rate, sir.
Opening stock. Zaid?
Opening stock. Opening rate.
Opening rate. Okay. Simran, goods received from head office account. This is what?
Actual rate.
Actual rate. Why actual rate?
Sir, because it is inter-transfer.
Perfect. Perfect. Rohan, sales?
Average rate.
Average rate. What is this called?
मतलब
From this table, where does it fall?
Sale, purchase and other additional and other nominal
Other
items.
nominal items. Okay. Zaid, purchases?
Average rate.
Average rate. Simran, wages?
Average rate.
Average rate. Zaid, salaries.
Average rate.
Average rate. Rohan, cash.
Closing rate.
Closing rate. Okay. Zaid, remittances to head office.
Actual rate.
Actual rate. What is this called?
Inter-branch transfer.
Interdivisional or interbranch transfer. Okay. Simran, head office accounts.
So actual rate.
Actual rate. Okay. Rohan, creditors.
Closing rate.
Closing rate. Okay. Rohan, if you could please read these two statements, the two which I have highlighted. Everyone, I request you to please pay attention.
A business having the head office in Kolkata has a branch in UK.
Okay. हमारी head office कहाँ पे है?
Kolkata.
कोलकाता कहाँ पे है? India?
Okay, India. हाँ.
Okay. So which means your head office is in local country or foreign country?
Local country.
Local country. Branch कहाँ पे है?
UK.
UK में. Okay. Simran, my question to you is, consolidation के वक्त branch office head office में merge होता है या head office branch में merge होता है?
तो ब्रांच ऑफिस को मर्ज करना पड़ता है हेड ऑफिस में.
Perfect. Which means UK वाले accounts को India में merge करेंगे, right?
Yes.
Okay. Rohan, please go ahead. The following.
The following is a trial balance of head office and branch as at 31st/3/2013.
Okay. So which means they have given you books of accounts on 31st March 2013.
Okay.
Everyone, we must note that the head office is in India, branch office is in UK, which means UK accounts has to be translated in the Indian accounts. Once you translate the UK accounts into the Indian accounts, that is when you will consolidate. And we have been given the books of accounts on 31st March 2015. Okay. Zaid, if you could read the first statement over here, which I am highlighting.
Closing stock at branch is euro 700 in 31st March 2013.
Which means this is the value of the closing stock. Tell
Yes,
me,
sir.
closing stock you will take at what rate?
Closing rate.
Closing rate. Perfect. Rohan, this statement.
Depreciation at the rate 10% per annum is to be charged on fixed asset.
Okay. Depreciation will always be taken on which rate?
Fixed asset rate.
What is the fixed asset rate?
Acquisition rate.
Perfect. Simran, most important question comes to you. These last two statements you have to read.
Okay, so prepare the trial balance after have been converted in Indian rupees. Exchange rates of pounds on different dates are as follows. On 1st 4 2010 it is 61 rupees. On 1/4 2012 it is 63 rupees, and on 31st 3 2013 it is 66 rupees.
Perfect. Now please understand. In fact, I want to ask you a question. What do you have to prepare in this question?
So we have to prepare a balance sheet.
Trial
balance.
Right? So you will have to simply prepare a trial balance. Balance sheet, P&L कुछ भी नहीं बनाना है, आपको क्या बनाना है? Trial balance.
Trial balance.
ठीक है. ये 1/4/2010 61 Simran is your opening rate, right?
Yes.
Opening rate है ये 1/4/2010.
So opening rate भी है and acquisition rate भी होगा.
Okay.
Fixed assets के लिए.
Okay, which means Simran आप ऐसा कह रहे हैं कि 1/4/2010 हमारा ओपनिंग रेट है और वो फाइनेंशियल ईयर चला ये रहा 31st March 2013 तक.
No.
1/4/2010.
Yes. So
Is
it is
that-
acquisition rate.
It is only your acquisition
Acquisition
rate.
rate. Yes.
Please be careful. A lot of students make a silly mistake over here. First frequently made mistake by students, they take 61 rupees as the opening rate. Absolutely incorrect. 61 rupees is your acquisition rate. Okay, Simran, what about this?
So this is opening rate.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, what about this?
Closing rate.
Closing rate. Look at this table once again and tell me, do you have the acquisition rate in the question?
Yes.
Do you have the closing rate in the question?
Yes.
Do you have the average rate in the question?
No.
No. How will you find the average rate?
So opening rate plus closing rate divided by 2.
Perfect. You will have opening rate plus closing rate divided by 2. Perfect. Now, last question to you, which is the most important question. And everyone will please pay attention on this because this is the second part where frequently students make a mistake. If you have to prepare a trial balance, will closing stock and depreciation be inside the trial balance or outside the trial balance? अच्छे से आप मुझे सोच के बताएंगे कि क्लोजिंग स्टॉक को जब हम कन्वर्ट करेंगे, शायद आपने या रोहन ने या जैद ने बताया था कि यहाँ पे हम क्लोजिंग रेट लेंगे, और आप में से ही किसी ने बताया कि डेप्रिसिएशन के लिए हम एक्विजिशन रेट लेंगे विच इज योर फिक्स्ड असेट रेट। माय क्वेश्चन टू यू इज कि क्लोजिंग रेट और डेप्रिसिएशन जब भी हम कन्वर्ट करेंगे, क्या वो ट्रायल बैलेंस के अंदर जाना चाहिए या ट्रायल बैलेंस के बाहर रिफ्लेक्ट होना चाहिए? दैट इज माय क्वेश्चन।
सर ट्रायल एडजस्टमेंट्स हैं तो ट्रायल बैलेंस के बाहर होना चाहिए।
Exactly. You will always take this as your adjustment. Please do not take it inside the trial balance. A lot of students take it at inside the trial balance. When you take it inside the trial balance, that is where you make a mistake. So never take it inside the trial balance. You will always take it outside the trial balance as an adjustment. Are you getting it? Okay. Someone has said that closing rate should be 67. Why 67? I think closing rate, we will keep it as 66. Okay, let's try and solve this question. Let's prepare a systematic format. So everyone put your first statement. As per accounting standard 11, effect of changes in foreign exchange rates. We are doing question number 4, which is given to you on page number 69. What do we have to prepare in the question? Rohan, what will we prepare in the question?
Trial balance.
Trial balance. As on which date?
31st 3/30.
2030. Prepare your trial balance on 31st March 2030. Let's prepare our formats. Just look at the way I'm preparing the formats. You will also prepare it in a similar manner. You have particulars. We call this GBP for the debit side. We will call it GBP for the credit side. You will then have the conversion basis. Conversion basis. Finally, you will have INR debit and INR credit. Prepare this format properly. Okay, Rohan, Zaid and Simran, for a while I am just putting you three on mute. When we start solving, I'll again put you on unmute. Right? Please allow me to do that.
Okay.
Prepare a systematic format. Ishita, if you could please tell us, why are you telling us to take the closing rate to be 67? Are you looking at the solution? Are you looking at the solution? That is from where you are getting 67? Right, so I request you not to take 67. That is a mistake in the solution. So that is why we will change the entire solution, and that is why you can see I have also removed the values. So once we change the entire question, I will also change the solution. So let's try and take it 66. Right, Ishita, I hope that is now clear to you. Prepare this format properly, then we start solving it. Okay, let's begin. We begin with Simran. What's the first item that you have on the trial balance?
Fixed assets.
Fixed assets. What's your value in GBP for the fixed asset?
5,000. 5,000.
5,000 pounds. Please be careful. Fixed asset has a debit balance. Do not put it on the credit side. Put a dash on the credit side. On what basis will you convert this?
Acquisition rate.
Acquisition rate. What is the acquisition rate given in the question?
61 rupees.
61. So should I write on the debit side or the credit side?
Debit side.
Debit side. Your value will be
3 lakh
5,000
5,000.
into 61. 3 lakh
3 lakh
5,000. Perfect. Rohan, second item.
Debtors.
You have debtors. Tell me, debit side, credit side.
Debit side.
How much?
1600.
1600. What is your conversion basis?
Closing rate.
What's your closing rate in the question?
66.
66. So we will take 1600 into 66. How much do you get?
1,05,600.
You get 1,05,600. Perfect. Zaid, what's your third item? Opening stock?
Yes, sir.
Debit side, credit side?
Debit side.
Debit side. What's your value?
400.
400. Okay. What's your conversion basis in this case?
Opening rate.
Opening rate. Okay. Good. What's your opening rate?
63.
63. How much do you get?
25,200.
You get 25,200. Perfect. What's your next item, Simran?
Goods received from HO.
So you have goods received from the head office. How much?
6,100 pounds.
6100. Debit side or credit side?
Debit side.
Debit side. How did you come to know that it should be on the debit side?
Because sir, we have received them.
Okay, fair enough. But if you look at the question, they have given it to you on the debit side. So ideally, we must take it as given in the question, right? What is the rate that you will take?
Actual rate
Actual rate. What's the actual rate given in the question?
4,02,000.
Perfect. So you will take 4,02,000. Okay, fine. Rohan, what about the next one?
Sales,
You have sales. This time, tell me, debit side or credit side?
credit side.
Credit side. Please be careful. Even if
Twen-
you're conceptually correct, but if you post it on the wrong side, instead of debit, you post on credit, you will end up losing marks because your answer will ultimately be incorrect. What do you say about the sales?
Average rate.
Average rate. So for the first time, we need to find the average rate. So we will put a working note for that. Working note 1. Let's go away a calculation of average rate. Tell me, how will you calculate the average rate?
Opening rate plus closing rate divided by 2.
What's your opening rate in the question?
63.
63. What's your closing rate in the question?
66.
66. Tell me, average rate will be opening rate plus closing rate divided by 2. How much?
64.5.
You get 64.5. So you multiply that with 64.5. Okay. Tell me, what's your value over here?
12,90,000. The credit side.
20,000 into how much?
64.5.
How much do you get?
12,90,000.
Perfect. You get 12 lakh 90,000. Okay, Zed, what about the next one?
Purchases.
Purchases. Debit side, credit side.
Debit side.
Okay. How much? What's your conversion rate?
7,000. Average rate.
You will again take the average rate. Okay. What's your average rate?
64.5.
64.5. How much do you get?
6,35,000.
You get 6 lakh 45,000. Fine. What about the next one?
Wages.
Simran, you have
Wages.
wages. Debit or credit?
Debit.
1,000. Okay. How much?
Average. We will take it at average rate
Yes.
64.5. 64,500.
Perfect. What about the next one? Salaries.
Salaries. Debit side.
How much?
1200.
1200. What is the rate that you will take?
Average rate.
Again, you will take the average rate. How much?
77,400.
You will multiply that by 64.5. You get how much? 77,400. Z, next one.
Cash.
Cash. Debit side, credit side.
Debit side.
Perfect. What is the rate that you will take?
Closing rate.
You will take the closing rate. Okay. Value.
2,11,200.
You get 2,11,200. Okay. What about the next one?
Remittances to head office.
Remittance to HO. Debit side, credit side.
Debit side.
Debit side. Okay. You will
Uh,
take.
Actual rate
Yes.
1,91,000.
How did you get 1,91,000?
It is given.
It will be given to you in the question. Perfect. Next,
Head office account.
head office account. Debit side, credit side.
Credit side.
How did you come to know credit side?
Given in question.
Given in the question. What is the rate that you will take?
Actual rate.
We will take the actual rate. Okay. On the credit side, tell me how much?
4,90,000.
How did you get 4,90,000?
And given in question.
That is given in the question. Okay. Finally, the last one.
Creditors,
Creditors, how much?
4,000. Credit side,
1,000 on the credit side. Very good. What is the rate that you will take?
closing rate,
Closing rate. Tell me how much?
2,64,000.
4,000 into 66, you get 2 lakh
64.
64,000. Okay. After this, let's leave 1, 2, 3 lines. In fact, 4 lines. And after that, let's put the adjustment values. Just give me a minute to adjust it. And then we go to the adjustment values. Okay. What is your first adjustment?
Closing stock.
Closing stock. Fine. Simran, closing stock. What's your value?
700 into 66.
Debit or credit?
46,200.
Debit or credit?
Debit.
What is the value that you will take? Conversion rate.
66. Closing rate.
Closing rate. So you have 700 into
66.
46,200. Okay. Rohan, what's the next adjustment?
Depreciation.
Depreciation. What's your value of depreciation?
5,000 into 10%, 500.
5,000 into 10%. Come
500.
to 500. So we take 500. Debit or credit?
Debit.
Debit. What is the rate that you will take?
Fixed asset rate.
Fixed asset rate. What's your fixed asset rate in the question?
61.
61. Perfect. So 500, 61. How much do you get?
30,500.
30,500. Okay. Now comes the most interesting and the important part. So I request everyone, now don't copy. Just understand what we are doing. Conceptually understand it. I'll give you more than sufficient time to copy. But this is the time to understand the last part, which is the third part where majorly students make a mistake. So let's begin with Zaid. Zaid, please make a total of debit side GBP. Simran, please make a total of credit side GBP. Let's begin with Zaid. What's your total of debit side GBP? Please calculate properly. The last thing that you want in the exam is a silly calculation mistake. So please be careful. Both of you, Simran and Zaid, please be very careful when you do the totaling. Once you're done, please let me know.
Sir, credit side total is 31,400 pounds.
31,400 pounds. Okay.
31,400.
Perfect. You get 31,400 debit side. Now ये जो हमको ट्रायल बैलेंस मिला था वो वैसे ही टैलीड दिया था उन्होंने, इसलिए इसका कोई इशू नहीं है. हमें टैलीड टोटल बैलेंस शीट ही मिली थी. सो आई एम पुटिंग दैट ओवर हियर एट द एंड. कितना आया हमारा? 31,400. मतलब जीबीबी साइड पे कोई इशू नहीं है, हमारा पूरा ट्रायल बैलेंस टैलीड है. प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे आएगा. नाउ रोहन एंड जैद. Rohan, you please make the total of debit side INR, and Zaid, please make the total of credit side INR.
Credit side 20,44,000.
Credit side is 20,44,000.
Debit side 20,26,900.
20,26,900. Okay. Now Simran, please understand and answer. दोनों में से टोटल किसका ज्यादा है? डेबिट साइड, क्रेडिट साइड?
डेबिट साइड. नो सॉरी, क्रेडिट साइड.
क्रेडिट साइड. तो मैं पहले उसका टोटल. एवरीवन प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड द स्टेप्स दैट आई एम फॉलोइंग. आपको दिख रहा है 20,26,900 and 20,44,000. The higher side comes on the credit side. और आपने 11th स्टैंडर्ड में आप सबने पढ़ा होगा कि जिस साइड का बैलेंस ज्यादा है वैसा उसका बैलेंस है. मतलब इसका कैसा बैलेंस है? क्रेडिट बैलेंस आता है. Are you getting it? You get how much? You get what? You get your credit balance. Okay, so let me take credit balance as the final balance. 20,44,000 on the credit side, 20,44,000 on the debit side. Are you getting it? सिमरन कितना डिफरेंस है दोनों के बीच में?
17,100.
17,100. So I'm putting over here 17100. I'm putting over here 17100. Simran, should I put 17100 on the debit side or on the credit side?
The debit side.
Debit side, because that 17100 falls short on the debit side.
Right.
Am I right? Now
Yes.
17100 is your exchange rate difference. क्या आप मुझे बता सकते हो कि ये 17100 डिफरेंस क्यों आया आपका?
तो एक्सचेंज रेट की वजह से डिफरेंसेस में.
एक्सचेंज रेट की वजह से आपने फॉरेन ब्रांच की वैल्यूज इंडियन रुपीज में कन्वर्ट की. क्योंकि अगर आप एक रेट लेते, मान लीजिए आप 61 रेट लेते, तो कोई चेंज नहीं आता. आपका टोटल आता 31,400 इंटू 61. आपका टोटल बैलेंस शीट टोटल आता 19,15,400. आई एम सॉरी, आपका ट्रायल बैलेंस टोटल आता 19,15,400. पर प्रॉब्लम ये है, हमने तीन इनफैक्ट चार अलग अलग टाइप के रेट लिए. एक्विजिशन रेट, ओपनिंग रेट. क्योंकि आप सब लोगों ने चार अलग रेट लिए, इस वजह से ट्रांसलेशन करते वक्त हमारे ट्रायल बैलेंस में डिफरेंस आया. कितना डिफरेंस आया? 17,100. दिस इज व्हाट योर एक्सचेंज डिफरेंस. आर यू गेटिंग इट? दिस एक्सचेंज डिफरेंस, टेल मी, is your gain or loss? Look at the question and tell me, this exchange difference is your gain or loss?
Loss.
Are you sure loss?
Yes.
Are you sure? मान लीजिए आप ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट बना रहे हैं. Okay, let me ask the others. What do you all say? Is it gain or loss? Everyone on the chat box. These three tell me that it is gain. So Zaid, Simran and Rohan tell me it is gain. What about the others? What do you say? Is it gain or loss? Okay, everyone says gain. Now I have a question to you three. मान लीजिए आप ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट बना रहे हैं. Okay, are you three with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, अगर आप ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट बना रहे हैं तो क्रेडिट साइड पे सेल्स आएगा.
Yes.
10,000 सेल्स क्रेडिट साइड. आपका ओपनिंग स्टॉक मान लीजिए 2,000 है. आपका क्लोजिंग स्टॉक 5,000 है. आपका वेजेस, डायरेक्ट वेजेस 100 है. इनफैक्ट 1,000 लेते हैं, इट विल बी इजियर. टेल मी, total of the credit side will be 15,000. Total of debit side will be
33,000.
3,000. Difference amount?
12,000.
12,000.
Tell me, gain or loss?
Gain.
GP
Loss.
or GL?
GP.
Right? Simran, you agree with me? This is gross profit.
Yes.
Rohan, you agree with me?
Yes.
Zaid, you agree with me? 12,000 is your gross profit. Tell me, is
Yes.
it not the same value over here? You have
Yes.
the HO account on the credit
Yes,
side.
sir.
You have, of course, the creditors. You have 12,90,000. If I take the difference, I have how much? 17100. However, please understand this question is not important because they have not asked you gain या loss ढूंढो. वो आपको क्या बोल रहे हैं? सिर्फ ट्रायल बैलेंस ढूंढो. तो एग्जाम में आप गेन या लॉस नहीं लिखेंगे. आप क्या लिखेंगे? एक्सचेंज रेट डिफरेंस. Are you getting it? All you will write over here is exchange rate difference. Right? How much do you get? 17100. Now please check. Does your total match? 20,44,000. It does. Can you see over here?
Yes.
20,44,000. Over here also your total matches to 20,44,000. Are you getting it? Is this clear to you three?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much, Rohan, Simran, and Zaid.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, everyone on your chat box, are you clear with this? If you have any doubts, please ask me. A very good question and very important concept this is. They may ask you a question on this, so it is important that you are conceptually clear with this. If you have any doubts, please ask me. If not, take it down properly. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Right, so I have two important points to tell you by the time you copy the solution. One thing is that if you look at the creditor's value, it is 2,64,000. If you look at the debtor's value, it is 1,05,600. It may also happen that this 17100 is a result of difference between these two. It may so happen. So because it is, we are unsure as to whether it is gain or loss. In this case, never mention gain or loss. It will always be mentioned as exchange rate difference. That was just for your explanation as to we prepared a trading account and try to understand. But in such a scenario, it is absolutely difficult to figure out whether it will be gain or loss. So what we write is exchange rate difference. Second, I have one doubt which also asks me that what if we have a suspense account in the question? Now it is a valid and a good question, but the important point is that no one will give you a tally trial balance if there is a suspense account. Just in case if they ask you a suspense account, you will simply look at it as to which side it is. If it is on the debit side, you will put it on the debit side. If it's on the credit side, you'll put it on the credit side. So that's the only thing that you can do, because suspense account is always to be cleared out before finalizing the financial statements. So when you take suspense account to the financial statements, you will always understand in this case that you will take whatever value is given. If it is suspense account debit side, take it on the debit side. If it is suspense account credit side, please take it on the credit side. You cannot solve the suspense account unless until you have the entire details. So we will not get into that. We will only mention it the side it is. So मान लीजिए suspense account दिया है, so we will convert it, and suspense account is always a personal account. So we will always take it at the rate at which we take the debtor. So we'll always take it at the closing rate. Right? I hope Raj that is completely clear to you. Okay. I have one more doubt which says, what is the logic we can't take inventory and depreciation in the trial balance? Because usually we take only those transactions as adjustments of which information is not available as on that date, right? So it is not basically information is not available on that date. It is just that effect of those two items has not yet been given in the trial balance items. So Spruva, my explanation to you is with two examples. First, आपने क्लोजिंग स्टॉक इस ट्रायल बैलेंस में लिया नहीं है, क्योंकि आपने क्लोजिंग स्टॉक नहीं लिया, ना आपने बैलेंस शीट में इफेक्ट दिखाया, ना आपने ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट में इफेक्ट दिखाया. क्योंकि आपने कहीं भी इफेक्ट नहीं दिखाया, आप उसको एडजस्टमेंट में दिखाते हो ताकि आप उसकी दो इम्पैक्ट दे सको. ऑन द अदर हैंड, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट डेप्रिसिएशन, अगेन द ट्रीटमेंट विल बी द सेम. आपने डेप्रिसिएशन का इफेक्ट दिया नहीं है, मतलब असेट अभी भी 5000 है जबकि वो होनी चाहिए 4500, और डेप्रिसिएशन कहीं भी पीएनएल डेबिट साइड पे या आपने डेप्रिसिएशन अकाउंट डेबिट नहीं किया. सो बिकॉज वी हैव नॉट टेकन एनी इफेक्ट, they have given it on in the adjustments, and adjustments need to be given effect. अगर मान लीजिए आप इसको सीधा ट्रायल बैलेंस में ले लेंगे, इसका मतलब ये होगा कि आपने इम्पैक्ट दे दिया है, लेकिन वो बात तो गलत है, आपने इम्पैक्ट एक्चुअली दिया ही नहीं है। क्योंकि आपने इसमें इम्पैक्ट नहीं दिया है, यू कैन नॉट इन दिस टेक इट इन द ट्रायल बैलेंस, राइट? आई होप स्प्रुवा दैट क्लियर्स योर डाउट. So they have not asked you. Your question is why can't we give dual effect and then prepare the trial balance? Now you can do that, but have they asked you? That's the question. आप फिर से क्वेश्चन को समझिए, वो क्या बोल रहे हैं आपको कि मैडम सीधा ट्रायल बैलेंस हमको कन्वर्ट करके दे दो। क्या वो बोल रहे हैं इफेक्ट देने के बाद ट्रायल बैलेंस बनाओ? वो बोल रहे हैं जैसा ट्रायल बैलेंस हमने आपको क्वेश्चन में दिया है, आप वैसा ही प्लीज हमें कन्वर्ट करके दीजिए। अब क्योंकि उन्होंने आपको ऐसा कहा है कि ये ट्रायल बैलेंस है, इसी को कन्वर्ट करके देना है, you are not supposed to give any effects. If you give effects, that means you are doing something which you're not asked to do in the question, so you will lose out marks on that. So please understand the question that is given, only thing is okay Sprua, in order to explain to you properly, rather than I telling you, you tell me what is the heading of this concept that we are doing. What is the heading of this concept that we are doing? What is the heading? I am highlighting the heading for you. Please tell me what's the heading of this concept that we just did. Translation of exchange rates in foreign operation. Please understand, translation का meaning ये है, जो मैं आपको हिंदी में बोल रहा हूँ, आप चेंज किए बगैर, मीनिंग वर्ड्स कुछ भी चेंज किए बगैर आप उसको इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में ट्रांसलेट करेंगे। सिमिलरली जो ट्रायल बैलेंस आपको दिया हुआ है, आप कुछ भी एक्स्ट्रा किए बगैर उसी ट्रायल बैलेंस को ट्रांसलेट करके हमें देंगे इन INR फ्रॉम GBP. GBP is your Great Britain pound, which is your pound. So you will convert from GBP to INR, which means no impact is to be given, no changes is to be made, no adjustments are to be made. You will simply translate from one currency to the other currency. Right? I hope Sprua now you're clear with that. Okay, I have one more doubt, which says in final accounts we will take exchange rate difference to the P&L. Yes, Simran, you will of course take the exchange rate to the profit and loss account. You will of course take it to the profit and loss account. I have one more doubt, which says what if we were asked to find gain or loss? Would we write gain or loss instead of exchange rate difference? So if you are asked to take to write whether it is gain or loss, in this case probably first thing at your level they will not ask you. Second, if they ask you, you will take it as your gain and you will put it on the P&L credit side. Right, so Zaid, I hope that solves your doubt as well. I have one more doubt, which says at what rate capital will be translated? Which capital are you talking about? Which capital are you talking about? So Raj, if you could please explain which capital are you talking about? Are you talking about the debenture capital? Are you talking about the share capital? Which capital are you talking about? Share capital. Okay. Now my question to you is share capital monetary item or a non-monetary item? My question to you is share capital non-monetary? Look at the table. Non-monetary is always taken at which rate? Non-monetary is always taken at the acquisition rate. So you will of course translate it at the acquisition rate. Perfect. Okay. Any more doubts? If yes, please ask me. Are you all clear with this? Quickly on the chat box. Are you all clear with this? Akshay, Aman, Anjali, Bhavin, Dipesh, Digesh, Harshit, Harshita, Ishika, Ishita, Jalpan, Khushi, Manav, Nidhi, Nikita, Pawan, Pushti, Raghav, Raj, Rizwan, Rohan, Sami, Samira, Shifa, Simran, Spruha, Yash, and Zaid, and Tulsi. Are you all clear with this? I am giving you another minute. Please look at whatever we have done till now so that we can go now to the third part of this accounting standard. So quickly look at whatever we have done. If you have any doubts, please ask me. And then we continue with the third part. So quickly look at whatever we have done. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Okay, come to the third part now of this accounting standard, which says, look at the language that they've used. It says accounting for foreign exchange transactions which are in the nature of forward exchange contract. So we will be looking at what is a forward exchange contract. Now we've already discussed the basics of a forward exchange contract. I'll quickly revise that with you. And then rather than looking at the theory part, we'll quickly go to a practical question and where you will be completely able to understand this concept and its accounting treatment. So first you come to the question that we will do is question number 5B. Let's do question number 5A, sorry, not B, question 5A. Come to question 5A. So as we discussed today and the other day as well, suppose if I purchase goods from outside India, if I purchase goods from outside India, in that case, quickly on the chat box, what is the risk for me? Exchange rate increasing or exchange rate reducing? What's the risk for me? Exchange rate increasing or exchange rate reducing? What do you think is the risk for the person purchasing? Right, exchange rate increase. Okay, so say for example, the rate when I purchase is 70, which we call it as the spot rate. My spot rate is 70. Now I am afraid that this rate will increase. So I go to the bank or the foreign exchange dealer and I tell him that I have purchased goods and I have to pay after 3 months. The exchange rate dealer or the bank tells you that the rate may increase to 75, but you don't worry. We have a tool known as hedging. In hedging, we focus on the forward exchange rate. What is forward exchange rate? Today, you are deciding a rate which will be applicable in the future. That is why it is known as forward exchange rate. So the bank tells you that whatever the rate will be, we freeze the rate to 72.5. So this 72.5 is nothing but my forward exchange rate. So we freeze the rate at 72.5. Now please understand the concept. The concept says that if the rate becomes 90 rupees, still you will strike your deal at 72.5. If the rate becomes 50 rupees, still you will continue to strike your deal at 72.5. Now I've been telling you again from day one that forward exchange contracts will never remove your risk. It will only mitigate your risk. So you completely know that the maximum loss that you will have is 2.5 per dollar. Are you getting it? So this is a risk mitigation tool which helps you to reduce the amount of risk that is there. Are you getting it? Fine. So this is a risk mitigation tool. Let's understand question number 5A to clearly understand how do you give the accounting treatment for AS11. It says Sterling Limited purchased a plant for $20,000 on 31st March 2011, payable after 4 months. Underline that. Payable after 4 months. On your chat box, can you tell me the due date of payment in this question? Can you tell me the due date of payment in this question? What is your due date of payment in this question? 31st December is the date on which you purchased. So January, February, March and April. So the last date will be 30th April. Now please understand what I'm writing on the chat box. Today is 31/12/2011. Your due date of payment is 30th/4/2012. Can you tell me between these two dates, there is one important date that falls. Can you tell me which date is that on the chat box? Between 31st December 2011 and 30th April 2012, you have your balance sheet date, which is 31st March 2012. So your balance sheet date will fall in between. So we will have to take that into account when we solve this question. Right, let's read further. It says the company entered into a forward contract for 4 months at what rate? 48.85. So 48.85 is your forward exchange rate. On 31st December, the exchange rate was how much? 47.5 per dollar. Question में क्या पूछा है हमसे? How will you recognize the profit or loss on forward contracts for the year ended 31st March 2012? So 31st March 2012 को फॉरवर्ड एक्सचेंज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से गेन या लॉस का रिकॉग्निशन कैसे करना है, ये हमसे क्वेश्चन में पूछा है. Are you getting it? Let's solve this again. I would request you to allow me to solve this question. You will understand how I'm solving and then I'll give you sufficient time to copy. So first understand, this question is question number 5A. So you have question 5A. This question is given to you page number 71. 71. Your first statement will be, as per accounting standard 11, the effect of changes in foreign exchange rates recognition of profit/loss on forward exchange contract. Let's prepare a proper format. You have particulars, amount, value will be in rupees. Okay, let's begin. Look at the question and tell me, what's your forward exchange rate given in the question? Forward contract rate. What's your forward contract rate in the question? 48.85? 48.85. 48.85 आपका डीलर के साथ या बैंक के साथ फ्रीज रेट है. इस रेट पे आपका ट्रांजैक्शन होने वाला है. लेकिन आपका स्पॉट रेट कितना है क्वेश्चन में? आपका स्पॉट रेट कितना है क्वेश्चन में? What's your spot rate in the question? 47.5. So your spot rate is 47.50. Okay, which means I could have paid at 47.5, but due to the change in foreign exchange rates, now I will have to pay at 48.85. So am I paying more or less on the chat box? Am I paying more or less? More. Since I'm purchasing and I'm paying more, tell me gain or loss? This is definitely your loss. What's your loss? 48.85 minus 47.5, your loss per US dollar. Sorry, it is loss per GBP. Your loss per GBP is 1.35. Okay, let's go to the next one. What is your forward contract amount? ट्रांजैक्शन का अमाउंट कितना है क्वेश्चन में? What's your forward contract amount in the question? 20,000? Put over there 20,000. Tell me, total loss कितना है? 20,000 into 1.35. What's your total loss? Everyone gets 27,000. Your total loss is 27,000. Okay, now interesting question. Everyone, please pay attention and answer to me on the chat box. My question to you all is 27,000 जो लॉस हुआ है वो पूरे फॉरवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पे हुआ है. हमारा फॉरवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का ड्यूरेशन कितना है? What is the duration of my forward contract? 4 months? 4 months. Okay. 4 months begin from 31st of December and end on 30th April. How many months from these 4 months will fall in the current financial year, which is 11-12? 3 months. So period up to 31st March 2012 is how much? 3 months. I am also putting over here for your reference. This is for the financial year 2011-12. So this is for the financial year 2011-12. It's 3 months. How many months will fall in the next financial year? How many months will fall in the next financial year? 1 month. Okay. One more question to you. This 27,000 loss is for entire period of the forward contract, that is 4 months. Yes or no? 27,000 is for the entire period of 4 months, right? So I will think in this way. 27,000 अगर 4 months के लिए है, हमारे current year में कितने months fall हो रहे हैं? 3 months. अगर 27,000 4 months के लिए है तो 3 months के लिए कितना? How much do you get? You get 20250. So loss to be recognized for the year ended 31st March 2012 will be how much? 20250. How do you get 20250? You get 27,000 into 3. Divide that by 4. You get 27,000 into 3. Divide by 4. Right. How much for the last 1 month that falls in the next financial year? How much will be the amount that falls in the next month for the financial year 12-13? You get 6750, so let's put that over here. Balance loss of rupees 6750. How do you get 6750? 27,000 minus 20250 will be debited or will be recognized, will be debited to the profit and loss account for the year ended 31st March 2013, the next financial year. Right, this is your basic question, and you can expect such kind of questions in the exam from forward exchange contracts. Right, quickly on the chat box. Are you all clear with this? Are you all clear with this? Yes or no? Okay, perfect. Since you all are clear with this, what I will do is I will end this session now and I will post this on your official WhatsApp group. Take it from there. Your next accounting standard lecture will now be on Thursday. So please ensure that you revise everything that we have done till today, so that when you come on Thursday, you are ready with your doubts, and I will first solve your doubts and then we go to the next one. Right, thank you so much for attending. I will now see you on Thursday. Till then, please revise thoroughly whatever we have done. Do practice all the questions by writing, and if you have any doubts, please get back to me. Thank you so much for attending. I'll now see you on Thursday. Thank you.